Hey, welcome back to The Slay, the show for America's outcasts. For those who have been overlooked, underappreciated, and misunderstood. The saying goes, communication is key. We're here to start the conversation. Let's slay. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. This is the first official episode of The Slay with Shi Rye. I am so excited. I want to thank everybody so much for all the support that we have gotten, all the support we're going to continue to get. We are going to have an amazing show together. I'm so excited today, all right? I am your host, Shira McDuffie, a.k.a. Sharai. I am a Ball State graduate. I am a awesome person. I make smoothies for the homeless. I'm pretty hilarious. Lots of tattoos, total package. With me, I have the beautiful Miss Mariah Price.
What up? This is Mariah, but you can call me Rye. Everybody else does. I am not a college graduate because I was in that shit for 2 years and said, fuck that shit. But I'm actually very intelligent regardless of that. I have a baking business. I bake vegan goods, and sometimes they're herbally infused, and sometimes they're not. It's called Rise Up Treats. You can find me anywhere on the internet like that, but it's 2 E's, like tree. I also do a lot of community work. I'm a dancer. Just all around awesome person.
Dope ass person.
I think I'm pretty
like
dope.
me. Yes.
I think I'm pretty dope. We do dope shit.
Our special guest today is someone that I have known literally since college. I was inspired the first time I saw him come to Ball State, and I think you were doing poetry that time that you came. He was doing poetry and he was beatboxing. And with me just saying those two things, you should already know who it is if you live in the city of Indianapolis. With us, we have Mr. Tony Styxx.
What's wrong with
Tell the people about you.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your homeboy Tony Styxx, a.k.a. Jean-Luc Ongat, a.k.a. Red Reddington Ron. And I'm a hip-hop artist, spoken word artist, a host, digital artist, educator, and I am a host of a podcast myself called Elsewhere Radio. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Woo! I'm so happy that you're here. Today's show, you guys, we're talking about the state of our nation. There has been a lot of things going on, and to the point where I had a day that I really had to disconnect because I was tired of fucking seeing it. But it's time to talk about it. It's definitely time to get it out on the table, express our opinions, and get that shit out so we can move forward into greatness, okay? As you know, I love to start my show with a moment of intentional focus. So literally just take 10 seconds. Today's intentional focal point is fighting through frustration. Like I said, a lot of what you see going on and what we're witnessing as far as the police brutality and the treatment of black people, that shit can get irritating. That shit can get frustrating. That shit can make you want to call into work. Like, it's hard to keep seeing this and not see any change. So today's intentional focus is about fighting through that, pushing through until change comes, until you're making change and not being stifled by your frustration for sure. So 5 seconds, y'all, all right? 5 seconds of silence. Let's get ready for the show. All right, let's pop it off. So if you've been under a rock, if you don't know how to read or you don't watch videos on the internet, you may not know what has been going on in our country, which would be really hard because this is what I'm about to say is not a new event. Protests have been going on for, maybe like a week? Maybe going on like a week?
Almost 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Protests have been going on all around the world, all around the country for about 2 weeks after the murder of George Floyd. He was arrested. I'm not even
Writing
sure.
a bad check, apparently, that they didn't even confirm for sure.
He was arrested for allegedly writing a bad check. 4 officers knelt on top of his body while he was saying that he can't breathe and asking for his mother, and he died. And we're sick of the shit.
For 8 minutes and 47 seconds, no less.
We're sick of the shit. We are sick of the shit. The protest began before they arrested the officer that was actually directly on his neck.
Well before.
Well before they arrested him. It had been a couple of days. Then they finally arrested him. Protests continued because that's not a fucking enough. Because every officer involved needed to be definitely held accountable. And so I want to start the show off with talking about the protest. Here in Indianapolis, there were protests downtown. Last Saturday, I went and I participated. I saw Tony there as well. And tell me about your experience downtown and what you witnessed.
The first day's protest was pretty surreal. As an educator, I pride myself, almost demand of myself, to teach my students about revolution because nothing changes without it, to be completely honest.
Thanks.
But what we talk about more specifically were freedom fighters. We talked about Angela Davis, and we talk about the movement that happened in Philadelphia, and we talk about Dr. Huey P. Newton. I don't just stick them to the Dr. Kings or the Malcolm X or Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. We dig deep, but it was one thing to teach it, and it's one thing to talk about it. Man, it's another thing to actually be standing there and like, yo. Mm-hmm. This is it. It's I never would have thought that there's a possibility. I don't have any kids, but imagine me looking at one day, my kid, 15, 16 years old, like, Pop, tell me about 2020. How much time you got?
Right.
It like
Grab a drink, son.
there were protesters in the street. There were police against people. And he's like, no, Dad, not 1960, 2020.
Right. Yep,
nah,
exactly.
fam, that's 2020. That's what I'm telling you. And it's interesting.
Niggas was getting lynched in 2020.
It's interesting to even have to have that conversation now.
Oh yeah.
Among my own peers, like, yo, we're revolutionaries, or like, yo, we're protesters, or there's legit not so much anarchy, not quite, but there's chaos in our streets. We're living through what our grandparents lived through.
Yep.
The second day is what bothered me. My second day out actually took me from the protest for a few days. Mm-hmm. We were on Vermont. The Vermont side of what's the War Memorial, right? And, a couple of protesters, I heard them yell out after like 10 minutes, back to the street. So everybody starts flooding to the street. The cops are at the other end, closest to the Pennsylvania side, the entire time. Mm-hmm. And I felt like we were being stalked, like prey.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be an exaggerator. I'm telling this truth. We turn down this block, and this sister, I actually got a picture of her. She says, it feels like they're following us. I'm like, it feels like they're following us. Why would she say that? Yo, the minute we hit that block, they all dispersed from that corner and went up a block.
Yep.
Came around. Y'all, we didn't get halfway down that block before all you heard was thump,
Yep.
thump, thump, tear gas everywhere. A little baby got separated from her grandmother. I caught a baby coming. I have this on video, this happening. And then I see it night after night. Matt Davis and a swarm of protesters and allies in the street night after night, wondering, is this the video where I watch a cop shoot somebody with a rubber bullet or hit somebody with a baton, like the young lady who was beaten with several batons before she finally fell to her knees, or the gentleman in Portland, that old fella in Portland with the cop who was kneeling in protest day before, day after, my man gets a full shove and a head full of blood out.
Yep.
That pissed me off.
So that it's crazy because what you're talking about, the moment that they started shooting out the tear gas, me and my sister were down here, and she kept saying, as soon as we hear that first glass break, like, we're out of here. Yeah. And I was like, fuck that, we out of here before that, because I was parked right in front of the Capitol building, like on that street. So I was like, we're gonna have to get back to the car. We're gonna have to try to get out of downtown, like whatever. We had been out there all day from like 2 to like maybe 7 before we left, and we just kept talking about, like, damn, it is so weird, the difference between, like, day and night. Because at 2 o'clock, it was so fucking powerful. The feeling was just like, hell yeah, like, we done came together and we're protesting, like, fuck 12. Look at these cops, they're just standing around, like, nobody's worrying about us. And then right around, like, 6 o'clock, like, as soon as the street lights came on, I'm talking about those same cops that dispersed, we were at the front of that crowd. So we saw them, they pulling in, doing 60 down a fucking downtown street. And that's, you just see them get out the car and they start throwing on gas masks. They start going immediately to the trunk. So I'm like, all right, sis, let's go. Turn around to go walk down the other side of the street. A block down the street on the corner is 5 cops standing in a huddle. They all have these fucking rubber bullet guns. And they're standing, like, their backs are all facing in. And they're literally just shooting. Like, they haven't even started shooting the tear canisters yet. So there are people who don't have shit to do with the protest, just like walking around downtown, didn't know that this was going on, or like, and they're getting hit with these. And I've got that on my live. I'm talking about they're in a football fucking huddle, just shooting in every direction because they know the protesters are about to get gassed this way back down the street.
What's interesting about this entire thing is that we were taught at a very young age to be able to, or most children are taught at a very young age, to be able to differentiate between fact and fiction. And as a nerd who plays video games, who watches plenty of shows and movies. You know, it's one thing for me to get sucked into a show and I'm thinking, man, this is like it's so captivating, but this is not real. And then I remember I'm living this.
Yep.
You know, to go from watching a show or a movie about protest or war breaking out in a foreign country and then thinking about it here.
Yeah.
I watched a movie where there was a scene where it was a Holocaust period movie. So, you know, if it's a scene full of Jewish individuals, they're hiding or they're being very cautious about when they go out, when they hear the curfew alarms. And I'm thinking, yo, we literally just had to do that. Like, people were literally having to communicate more than they normally would have to be
Like,
home
if you
or
coming
somewhere.
over,
Hey,
are
if
you spending
coming-
the night
right,
because
you staying.
curfew is at 8 and I don't want you to leave and get caught.
My roommate would come in and we would talk about it's like a wild, crazy night of being tired from work. Nah, more recently it's like, did you go out to the protest? Yeah, bro, and I threw a tear canister back. Why is that why is that the norm?
And the thing the thing that's kind of frustrating about that is, like, even when you're watching it in the movies, it's kind of gotten to a point where it's not even exaggerated. Like, you know, you might watch it from a movie and be like, oh damn, that's like a realistic idea, but this is like, right, yeah, basically,
that's not real.
basically this is
not how that happened.
is that real? Like, when did that happen? That's what we're actually like. Now we're just Googling. Oh shit. Okay, so that was based on true events, or that was just straight up what the fuck it was.
Yesterday.
Like, so that kind of makes me want to talk about, because as a lot of y'all know, we're sitting on Market Street, and the building across the street from us is completely like boarded up, completely boarded up. So let's get into every building but this one. By
People were saving it.
Yep.
I heard.
Yep.
And what's even crazier about what's going on is, like, in our own city,
Shout out to Pete.
we've lost someone
yeah.
due to this, and I think that's when Indianapolis decided to turn up. So,
Oh, yeah.
Rest in power to. How do you say his name?
I believe it's Drayshawn Reed.
Drayshawn Reed, yeah. Rest in power to him, and healing vibes and love to his family and loved ones and stuff, because I don't think I've ever seen Indianapolis behave the way that we've been behaving, and I love it.
And
It's
you know
a
what?
farming state. This is weird for us.
This is right. At
Family.
Right.
Racing, corn.
At first, I said, and I'm gonna be, y'all can judge me if you want, but the first day that I heard about protests here, I was like, here goes fucking Indy trying to be a part of something again. Like, my first thought wasn't like Drayshawn Reed. It was like, oh, okay, niggas is protesting in other cities. Like, oh, we got to get on the protest now. We don't stand for shit, you know?
Right.
And then when I got down here, and that's what I mean when I say it was so fucking powerful, and even just like the chants that people were coming up with, you know, people standing on cars in front of the circle and expressing their opinions and you know, talking about this. We do not have any type of fucking arrest. We don't have no fucking names of the officers that shot this man dead on Facebook fucking Live.
Well,
Why?
They just released the name of the one who actually get the kill shot. The
But
black one.
They're
Okay.
claiming that he was the only one.
That shot.
Yeah, that's
You
the
can
claim.
hear multiple voices and multiple gunshots. Ain't no way he did all them gunshots by himself.
Unless my man was out here cartoon style, two
With
pistols
the-
blazing. with the
fucking
bomb.
Exactly.
Right,
Like
right.
he was wild westing up in this
Yeah,
bitch.
like,
I don't
nah, homie.
understand how, because I was on the live.
Yeah, I got the
I
live
watched
link from
him.
your page, I think.
I watched him fall
Yeah.
Yep.
in
And
front of
her-
my face,
yep.
and I was like, "Are you fucking this? Are they just shot? I just watched
killed this
somebody
man.
die on
Yep,
live. I
yep.
was fucked up."
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. I never got to actually see. So I knew he fell because
His
the
phone.
feed that I got was facing the sky, and
Right.
I could see
You could see the bullets going into the
across
ground
something.
in the grass.
As soon as he
flying up.
fell, I thought to myself, "Is he about to die?" Pop, 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 pop. Yo, what?
What the fuck did I just witness?
It never got so quiet on the live feed.
Boy.
Like, nobody said anything for
Yeah.
like at least a good 30 to 40 seconds,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you saw, is he dead? Did they shoot him?
Yeah.
He's not responding.
Yeah.
We don't hear anything. Closed casket now, homie.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I could not fucking believe.
You read about stories
he
like
said-
that.
Yes, I could not
Yeah.
believe
You
that
know.
he said that shit. And this is the crazy thing is that when I heard that, I said, "That's a black man." I was like, "That's a nigga's voice." I know a nigga when I hear one. That's a black man's voice talking about some closed casket. What? And that, but you know what? When people get to arguing like this good cop, bad cop type of thing, like, and having that conversation, I struggle with that, because it's like, right, yes, there are good cops, but that's just because they were good people. But in the face of authority, and when they have that authority, you know what I'm saying? This is a black man that just watched another black man get shot down to the fucking ground, and you're the one cracking the fucking jokes?
Chris
you know
Rock
what I mean?
said it the best when he said that the idea of good cops or just a few bad cops, it's not a profession where that can happen. You're not going to hear them say that about a dentist, and you're not going to hear them say that about a pilot. Like, yeah, sure. Most of our pilots like to land on the landing strip, but you know, some of those bad pilots.
Some of them drink on the job.
Right, and it's like you don't get to do that.
Yeah. So, they can come back to work still.
Exactly.
Yep.
So your job is protecting and preserving the lives of citizens, whether they're right or wrong, but you're doing more of the killing. People damn near die more by the hand of a trigger-happy cop than they do by a shark. I have better chances in the ocean as a black man who can damn near not even swim than I do on the streets of Indianapolis or IMPD.
Yep. I kind of branching or moving into the next thing though. I want to talk about just distinguishing people and their purpose, because so we had the protest and we had that first day of peaceful protesting and it was dope, and then the very next day it was fucking riots, and you get all these people that are in an uproar. It's like, well, we can't have peaceful protests. Black people can't have nice things because then y'all go and y'all tear shit up, and oh, now we're looting and y'all don't really actually care. Y'all just trying to steal the new J's or the new Yeezys or whatever. And I think it's important to talk about the differences of those things, because you have people who came for the protest. Like me, I'm all for the fucking protest. I'm definitely down to be a part of some shit, but I'm not staying around for the riots. Sorry, if I'm not really down because I don't want to tear some shit up or I just don't want to put my life in that type of danger or whatever, then so be it. That's what the fuck it is. But for me, I did my part by stepping out and protesting. I'm not going to judge the looter. I'm not, I think it's fucking stupid. And we were talking about this, Indianapolis. I just really kind of feel like we missed the opportunity to really do some type of call to action shit.
For some
as far as Kilroy's.
If y'all was gonna tear some shit up,
if you was gonna tear some shit up, then Kilroy's Broad Ripple should have been torn up, because a week before the fucking protest, they made their Facebook page and Black Twitter went ham on that shit, basically. Which is crazy, because I've been to Kilroy's and Broad Ripple thousands of times and I've never really experienced this, but when I saw that Facebook page and saw how many black people was like, y'all gonna let niggas in now? Like, do we still need 2 IDs? Are y'all gonna be checking at the door? Like, they shut their page down. They shut their Facebook page down.
Right, which is about to be my point about Kilroy's Broad Ripple versus anywhere downtown. You got to think about it like this. Black Twitter shut down Kilroy's and Broad Ripple so hard that the concept of them being able to financially gain from anything is almost next to none now. Mm-hmm. That's almost like this temple has been empty for 100 years. Why are we going to destroy it? Nobody worships here. But they worship in the synagogues over here.
Yeah.
So it's almost pointless. If you want to destroy something, you want to go after its center.
Okay.
You want the biggest guy in the room. Kilroy's downtown is going to make way more money than the Kilroy's on Broad Ripple. Tenfold.
True. Yeah.
You want to hit their pockets. You don't really need to deal with Castleton or Lafayette or Washington Square, but Circle Center.
Yeah.
Everything here
happens down here.
The thing about looting and rioting, so I'm going to say, for me, this is me personally, all of it's necessary. I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Tupac Shakur said it the best when he said, at one point in time, that dog that kept begging for scraps is going to stop begging and he's going to jump up on the table and take what he needs. Mm-hmm. There was a scene in the third Dark Knight movie. Yes, I'm a nerd. Welcome. There's a scene in the third Dark Knight movie where Catwoman is coming out of this rich ass house where all these people were living in lavish luxury and and these people pretty much looted. Bane pretty much set up a court where the people judge themselves. Mm-hmm. Notice the thing that he made reference to was shit's getting done though, and it took this. Mm-hmm. If you had done your job in the first place,
we could have
avoided this.
Here.
So I come knocking on your door. I'll give you the best example ever. This is a story of Exodus. Best example ever. As the Pharaoh had treated his people with love and grace in the first place, there'd been no reason for me to pull up on you. But now that I know that you haven't, I'm gonna need you to let my people go.
And not only I'm not
Hebrew
coming
lives matter. No, they don't. They're slaves.
Yep.
Okay, bet. So I'm gonna send locusts. All right, I'm gonna put blood in your water. I ain't stunting. I'm taking your kid, bro. What you doing? What? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna stop your traffic. Whatever. I'm going to stand on your monuments. Yeah, all right. What are you doing?
Right.
Getting your attention.
I'm gonna say this. I don't necessarily agree with looting and stealing, but I do feel like every part of it is necessary because shit does not happen until you get in somebody's ass. Two examples. I feel like thugs are very necessary because everybody's not. Some people are like Shira. Some people are like Shira and they want to be peaceful and be chill, but some people are like me and I'm going to run up on you and get some shit done and I don't care.
How do you think villages get protected?
Exactly. Thank you.
Right.
Somebody has to be willing to do the dark
dirty
side
job.
of the shit.
And we have to stop talking about it as if each of these things are non-related. Like
Exactly.
looter, like the riots didn't have anything to do with the protest.
It's an escalation.
We just wanted to fuck. It's absolutely an escalation.
Rioters are the people who got sick and tired of the peaceful protesters being taken advantage of.
Exactly.
I never believed that a rioter and a peaceful protester were individuals that were at heads. It's just one sees a side of the opposition that the other one, it looks like they're ignoring. It's kind of like Magneto and Professor Xavier never hated each other. Magneto just felt like Charles Xavier is being too naive.
Yeah.
Like, I know you get it, but you're giving him too leniency.
I'm loving all these nerdy ass.
It's like the.
So you know,
it's like having a guard dog.
Yes.
You're peaceful and nice, but you gotta have bodyguards. Somebody
Definitely.
gotta be around you to protect you because you too nice. Somebody gonna take advantage of you.
For sure. So now what is our part? I think that all of those things are necessary, but I also am a firm believer that there has to be follow through. There has to be, where I was going with the Kilroys, the Broad Ripple thing was, okay, so we shut down their Facebook page. All right, well, now there's riots. This would have been a perfect opportunity to go fuck they shit up, followed by a blackout. No black people, no white allies are going to fuck with Kilroy's Broad Ripple, followed by how long does it take them to reopen, if they ever can reopen, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they've been fucked up. So what's next? We have to take it into our own responsibility to study our law processes, figure out, how do we get a bill introduced, or how do we get in contact with our leaders in Indiana? Because at the end of the day, and me and Mariah were kind of talking about this the other day, voting ain't shit. And I'm sorry, like, I voted this year, whatever, but voting is a way for them to keep track of us because we do not answer the fucking census. And that's pretty much what it is. We've been shown time and time again that popular vote, which is what we're voting for, doesn't matter. Our votes are not, when you go in to vote in the primary, you're not voting for the president. You're voting for the people that are going to go vote for the president. You get what I'm saying? So before we get our kind in there, before we get people that can represent us into the Electoral College to be making those decisions, we got to do things on a smaller hometown type front, We have to start attending city council meetings. We have to start figuring out just the basics of
becoming more civically engaged.
We have to learn about. I was watching. It's called I'm a Killer. I'm a Killer on Netflix. And there was a girl on there that had been like raped and abused her whole life. Kind of like the Centoya Brown story. She had been raped and abused her whole life, and then she was trying to get liquor from a liquor store. She was underage, and the good guy was like, I know you're underage, whatever, but if you come on a date with me, I won't call the police. So she goes on a date with this dude, gets to his house. He's like, let me take a shower. I've been at work. Comes out the shower with like butt-ass naked with a condom on. And she's like, nah, I'm not fucking with that, whatever. She's bought herself a gun for protection weeks before this happens. And she ends up shooting him. Shoots him 3 times and kills him. She ended up getting like 25 to life because she agreed to a plea deal of second-degree murder instead of going to trial and pleading self-defense and taking her chances.
Right.
And that shit happens so fucking often
because
where
you don't know the laws.
And the one of the attorneys on the show, or she was her appellate attorney, and she was saying like only 8% of like all fucking criminal cases that are convicted go to trial because they tell us, listen. And it's pretty much like saying, you should just take it because if you take your black ass to trial, you're gonna lose.
And that's real.
And that's the reality of our situation. So it becomes our responsibility now to start taking those steps and trying to introduce our own bills, trying to make laws that affect and encourage our fucking community. The Amy Cooper bill. Cuomo, the Governor Cuomo in New York is trying to reintroduce an initiative basically, and they're calling it the Amy Cooper bill if you want to like Google it, but obviously I don't think that's going to be the name of it. But basically where falsifying and calling the police and falsifying, it should definitely be named after the victor for sure. But it'll make falsifying a police report based or a crime report, it'll make it a hate crime. If you're not familiar, Amy Cooper's, I know you've seen the video of the lady who damn near strangled a fucking dog to death. because she was trying to Karen a black man who just asked her to put a dog on a leash. So and we've seen this time and time again, but during this video, she says specifically, I'm going to call the police and tell them that an African-American man is threatening me and my dog.
Right.
By her specifying, I'm telling them it's an African-American man, she is implying that she knows that when African-American men come into contact with the police, things do not go the way that they're supposed to go. So fuck yeah, that should be a hate crime. And while we're doing all these protests, while we're doing all this rioting, while we're doing all this shit and trying to get the attention, we should also be backing the fuck out of that. And we should be figuring out what type of parts that we can play that matter, that'll make a difference to back those type of things, to get that type of shit in our state. You know what I mean? Where the fucking KKK originated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It has to go further than just let's tear some shit up. Let's march a couple streets, and then a week from now, we're not gonna talk about this shit no more.
While I agree that we should definitely know more about like our laws and things of that nature, just my personal thought on it. The system isn't built for us. I'm not necessarily interested in changing the system we're in. We need our own. That's how I feel.
I agree.
If we're gonna be in this system, though, yes, it should be more beneficial to everybody that it's supposed to serve. But since it's not, and it's probably not ever going to, then I feel like there should be more of a move for us to create our own things. Of course, that's not going to happen overnight. But I definitely think that if we were going to be living in this country with these people, we should have had our own government, military, all of that.
Oh, most definitely. But that starts with, first of all, just believing that we can knowledge and believing that we can do that shit. Like, I'm so tired of hearing like, oh, I can't buy just black-owned products because I can't find blah, 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 blah. Like, that's just not going to fly anymore. Because, and for me personally, just in Indianapolis, I feel like we are so like focused on everybody want to be the best one out. Like people don't fucking, especially within the black community. Now I see it more because I'm connecting myself in those things. But generally it's like, okay, me and Mariah have been friends since the 6th grade and she's a photographer and she's a good photographer, you know what I'm saying? But I fuck with her because she's from the 6th grade. Well, somebody tries to introduce me to Tony, who is like certified about his shit, honestly better than Mariah, but I will turn around and say, no, fuck that nigga. I'm not fucking with him because I've known her since the 6th grade. I gotta be loyal. I can't better myself and still support her and also support something that's good for me because that's just loyalty. I'm not gonna be loyal. And we're so misguided. I think here in Indy, I see a lot of that where just recently in the past couple weeks with all this shit going on, I have been introduced so much to so many like black-owned restaurants, like black hair care. I just ordered some black hair care products, like clothing lines that I didn't know about, and all because we just sharing it on Facebook. That's all it takes. Sharing a link, doing a shout out. But we're so quick to say like, no. Like I gotta support, bro. We gotta keep the circle small. You know what I'm saying? And we have to stop that. I'm really excited to see what happens with this whole July. If I'm being honest, I don't know. I don't think that it's going to go the way that it should. But the whole July 4th blackout and, turn it Juneteenth into our celebration.
I really hope that y'all do that. I hope that y'all let go of these fucking holidays that are lies. They're holidays, first of all. Every last fucking one of them.
Holidays.
And we were slaves still when they got their independence. When they got in their How the hell are they fighting for their independence from a country, from a queen, and they still telling your black ass, hey, come here. I'm hungry. Come feed my child.
Yep.
Bring me the liquor that I'm drinking to fucking celebrate my freedom.
Yep.
That wasn't even for us.
And then it's so strange, though, because I've talked to a couple people about this that are like, fuck that, I'm celebrating July 4th. Like, it's the 4th of July. It's like what you do. It's just the tradition. Like, as if tradition cannot be changed. As if we can't create our own tradition.
Tradition been getting y'all niggas killed because they've been traditionally killing black people for a long time.
Right. And the thing that kind of pisses me off about that is that it's that lack of knowledge. We don't want y'all don't even, motherfuckers don't even, I know a lot of motherfuckers that don't even know what the 4th of July is. Like, don't know what it stands for. They just know that on the 4th of July, we celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't know what Independence Day means, doesn't know why. You know what I'm saying? Like, no knowledge of the history. But when you come and tell them, like, hey, bro, you shouldn't fuck with that shit. Like, we should be fucking with Juneteenth. It's like, man, fuck that shit. Like, it's 4th of July. That's what we do. We're supposed to, we gotta do it like that. It's time to make a change.
So then we should probably start with educating our people more on what Juneteenth actually is. It's not so much. It's a child is chewing on a pin cap. They're teething. They're
Right.
obviously looking for something to cut their gums upon.
Yeah.
So you take the pen cap away. Now you have a crying baby. Why? Because you didn't replace the pen cap. And so you try to introduce.
I still need the relief.
Right. So you try to introduce like what is those numbing rings, right? And the kid is still fussing because they have absolutely no idea what the hell this is. All they know is you're shoving it on them, saying you need this. Why?
Okay.
Why? The thing that happens in the African American community, if I'm going to be candid here, is that if knowledge is synonymous with water, and your thirst is your ignorance. How can I cure your ignorance if I'm throwing a cup of water in your face? But if I at least slide this cup of water across to you, and I even take the top off a little bit there.
And that's exactly how I try to do people.
Now you have an option. You can I provided an opportunity for you to quench your thirst.
Yeah.
If you don't, that is completely on to you. Don't claim thirsty. And I gave you a reason to hydrate. If you were to hydrate. But if all I do is, you always talking about being thirsty. Well, I'm twice as thirsty.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. We tend to smack each other in the face with we douse each other with a tidal wave instead of bringing calm seas. And it's very difficult for us to get that information across. We also, which is weird for a lot of African Americans, for me in a sense, this bubble of awakeness happened, and now all of a sudden everybody's an expert. And I say that because you hear it all the time. You mention something, and the first thing somebody wants to do is become a human beatbox and click their damn feet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, we should be celebrating Juneteenth. What's Juneteenth? Man. Or just tell me, nigga, like, what are you doing?
I do not like that. I hate when I notice
it's dismissive.
people when they act like, okay, well, I'm smart now and I have this now. Please don't act like you weren't there before.
And that's the problem.
Because somebody has to tell your goofy self.
Exactly. And we can't, instead of us having those conversations and communicating within our community, what we're doing is just sharing that shit on Facebook.
Because everybody wants to be Malcolm X.
Because we're sharing that shit on Facebook. Oh shit, let me click this. So, and it's clickbait. We're
the people sharing it like that ain't even reading it themselves.
They're not, and that's why I say that shit is clickbait, because you have so often, it's just, I want to be a part of that conversation.
Yeah.
But what the fucked up part is, okay, now I done shared this link. Here comes somebody educated in the comments.
Because the internet literally made everybody believe that they could be a gladiator.
Yep. And so here comes the real warrior in the comments. Hey, actually, that's not true, whatever. And instead of, oh, I'm sorry, can you educate me? Let me know a little more. It's, nigga, get off my post. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. Bye. If you're not with me, you against me, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to know shit. It's been working for me.
It comes back to being able to hold each other accountable and not be offended. It comes back to being able to accept constructive criticism, which a lot of us do not know how to do that with each other. We've never been taught. We've never fucking seen it. And just knowing that if in order to lead, you gotta be able to follow.
Yeah.
What?
We don't get to hold that one. I feel like our generation is way more aware and way more in tune. I don't think it's that we've not been taught. I think it's that we are out of practice.
True. Okay.
We don't put each other in enough positions to practice. At the beginning of Jadena's album, you and I talked about this. It talks about somebody's weight. Everybody's existence has a gravity, a weight to it. And because we sugarcoat our weight to each other, now we have this assumed or this fictitious idea of how heavy the other person actually is, or how heavy we actually feel to them. Instead of giving them the actual weight, seeing if they can handle that, and then asking the important question. Okay, now we know that you can't handle it. Do you want to learn how to get better? Or now we know that you can handle it, but you could probably handle more. When we avoid that, we put each other out of practice. We all know how to be considerate. We all know how to be. We all know how to have conversations of accountability without. You and I have done it. But the difference between you and I and most people is that you and I practice this. True. Most people do not practice accountability. No, most people do not practice confrontation with assuming positive intent, because the internet and the social world, social norms have made us all very cautious, sensitive, and jaded to one another.
Unnecessarily so. Yes.
It's nothing for...
Because it's like, dang, I can't even say nothing to you because you're going to be freaking offended. And I'm really just trying to help your ass.
Well, and I think that almost kind of goes into when we were having the conversation about like homophobia in the black community. It's like men, we don't even let our black men, thrive at things that they could find their passion in, and because we expect
hair,
all of that shit. And I said this on my last show. If I had a dude that could do my nails for me, if my boyfriend could do my nails, like, you're getting your dick sucked every day because that's lit. Like,
shit just got
that's lit.
Real.
Sorry. But no, seriously though.
No, I hear you. That's real shit.
But a nigga won't ever even explore ignore that because that's gay.
There was a
That's
comic
gay.
strip that I saw that kind of it's
weird
not
now.
as adult as that comment, but it's on the same page. So there's this comic strip where these two dads are sitting on the couch, and there's the daughter and there's the son, and the son picks up a baby doll, and the dad is like, put that down, and the other friend was like, why do you want him to play with a baby doll? He's like, he should be playing with action figures and this, that, and the third. He shouldn't be playing with baby dolls. I'm like, why? So you don't want him to learn how to take care of a child? He should know how to hold the baby's head, how to properly administer the bottle, how to change the diaper. What are you expecting to do this? And it's like, imagine how many marriages would be saved
Oh yeah.
if men were
If
more
a daddy
allowed.
could do some hair.
Oh my goodness.
If a daddy could get up and cook a whole meal and not burn
to be more
something.
in tune with his feminine side,
Yep.
with his more feminine side.
Him being domestic, not being a problem.
Yep. So let's talk about our black men. I mean, that's kind of the next thing. Because going into that, me and Mariah were kind of having a conversation of we expect, especially a lot within the black community and us as black women. And I said this, and Tony said, these are my words and not his. So when y'all hear this,
Full
ladies,
disclaimer.
y'all know that I keep it real and I keep it raw. We as black women are so like, we have this expectation of, it's kind of like that B. Simone. I didn't even see the video, but basically I guess B. Simone is canceled because she said she wouldn't date a nigga that worked a 9-to-5 job. But the
She was
point
very
is,
specific about that, though.
the point is that we do not want that man in process. We want that perfect 6-figure nigga with everything together. We don't want to see him in his struggle. We don't want to walk that journey with him. We just expect him to be perfect, and we want that shit. But we're not teaching them that. And we have had the conversation
And I
about,
won't teach a nigga shit, and I'm not going
And I'm
be
not-
nobody's mama. And
I can say this as a man, it is very unattractive to constantly hear about what a woman is not going to do. At some
Yeah.
point, I want to know what you are going to do.
Right, because
Like
just
if-
because you have a vagina does not mean that you are the whole table, baby.
Because I can't go on the internet talking about what I'm not going to do.
oh yeah, oh hell yeah,
Because the women would ring you
oh
to shit.
hell yeah.
So it's like, why do I have to sit here and constantly be reminded of what, going somewhere like Tinder or Facebook dating app, and like it's just a giant chunk of everything that she doesn't want to do, doesn't like, and doesn't want. It's like,
And that's why y'all
that
getting
still
men that y'all
leaves
don't
a-
want, because you keep talking about the stuff you don't want to say, the stuff you do want.
And manifesting that shit.
I don't know if I'm actually this guy because you were very specific about what you didn't want, but that leaves a fuck ton
Right, right.
about what you do want.
Very open and vague over here.
Like,
We are also really, really good at like being just like anti-men sometimes as black women. I'm a strong, independent black woman that don't need no man. Which is okay, that's fine until it comes in for me. And I don't have kids, but still, I always feel a weird type of way about it when kids are involved because we're quick to say, I got your back, girl. Fuck that nigga. He ain't shit. Don't let him see his kids because he was texting a bitch. Like, and we're real quick to get on this train of like, I want to be the single mother of the year. Like, I can do this by myself. I don't need no man. Instead of realizing that it takes a fucking village. It's supposed to be a village. It's not supposed to just be you and him. So if you hate that nigga's guts, it's okay because you got somebody. You know what I mean? And but we still, again, we expect so much and we set such high expectations and we say, well, not all black men are rappers. Not all black men are basketball players. We
Right.
don't, but that's all. I don't want to say that's all that we're breeding, but in a sense, it's just kind of like
I see what
when
you're saying.
when you shun the black father out of the family. I'm not saying you single mother can't do it by yourself. I'm just saying that yes, he should still, not for the sake of his sexuality, but just for the sake of learning how to be a man in general, especially a black man in America. There should be some type of fatherly form around your son,
so I'm going to walk
Children,
the
period.
tightrope
around your children. But
right now. I'm going to throw myself out as a sacrificial lamb. And I'm going to say what I've been thinking for quite some time. The equivalent of what black men need from women, specifically black women, good black women, because I can sit here and say I know several, is the equivalent of what African Americans need from the white people that we know are good. We need an ally. I had a conversation with
We're
a
so
friend one day.
divided.
Right, I had a conversation with a friend, and I made a status, and the status made it seem like I was talking about all women. And I knew that it wasn't all women. I know a lot of women know that it's not all women, but it's kind of like the same thing with having good cop, bad cop. Yeah, we know that there are a bunch of bad cops, and no, we know that not every cop is bad, but if you're not doing the good or right thing, then the bad outweigh you. So when it comes down to like good women, especially good black women versus the ones that are not getting the credit they deserve, or the ones that are getting too much credit and they don't deserve it, it's like it's kind of hard for black men not to generalize when the good black women aren't stepping up, speaking out, and shining a light on the negative things that black women are doing in the community.
Yep.
Same goes for black men, because
Yeah.
as one, and one has definitely let shit slide sometimes. In the past, I've seen black men do some foul ass shit and have let it slide for the sake of not stepping on nobody's toes, to be nobody's business.
Yeah.
But then I can't get online trying to defend good black men when I let a bad one get more
Slip
pub
through.
and slip through.
Right.
I can't say shit about that. And what I feel that happens with black men, it gets dismissed. How they feel about the population of black women who aren't on the right. I guess if I was to phrase it a certain way. Because his tone is generalizing. And he's not been taught to do any different, because what if he's not seeing that? I had to remind myself of that. Not everybody that I know is everybody else knows.
Yep.
I know 2, if not more, obviously more, hundreds of great black women. They're not all the black women that I know. So when a brother gets online, he starts talking about the fact that sisters ain't shit, I'm the first to correct him saying, some.
Right. Yep.
Some.
And
I
you
do
know
that
what,
all
though?
the time. I'm
Now,
like, don't loop us.
Some.
Yep.
Or
Now-
don't loop
Some.
all of them. Don't do that.
But you saying that, me and Mariah have had the conversations about, okay, black women, now where is our role? Because for me, like, I have been quick, and people try to check me about that shit, especially with like posting, like, y'all know I post my screenshots of like if a nigga
Right.
comes in my DMs and it's just like disrespect or like whatever, I'll post screenshots, and I would get a lot of flack from that, like, well, you know, you didn't have to be rude, or you didn't have to da-da-da-da-da. But my point behind that was just like, look at how often a motherfucker comes reckless to me. And the same thing goes kind of real life too. It's so often that I'm at a fucking gas station and there's somebody yelling across the fucking parking lot.
Everybody's
"Damn,
telling you how to react.
hey,
Nobody's teaching him how to
yeah,
act.
Right. And so
Yeah.
me and Mariah talked about that. The other day I was in the gas station, a dude walked by me, he goes, damn, what's your name? I kept walking. He goes, oh, you can't speak? You can't even look my way? I turned around, I said, I said, because do I look like you should have been speaking or looking at me like that? And he was like, oh, damn, my bad, you right. What's your name? You know, he changed his tone.
That's real.
And I take responsibility for that. Okay, I could have cussed him out. I could have easily, get the fuck out of my face, bum ass nigga, don't talk to me like that.
Right.
But what does he learn from that?
Nothing.
Nothing. What does he learn?
That another black girl is a bitch.
That another black girl
Another black
is
bitch.
a mad black
On to
bitch.
the next one.
Basically.
Because I've literally, after being married and talking to my husband about things that he was going through as a young black man, and we're still really good friends and we still have these kind of conversations, I made it a point to be a better woman. And by doing so, telling niggas stuff, no, that's not how you do that. Try again. And now that you did it, that's great. No, I'm not going to give you my number.
still not interested, but
use that on the next woman you talk to, because that is how you should do that shit. I correct my brothers very gently. Even my sisters, when girls do certain shit, I be like, that's actually not necessary. You don't have to do that.
If more of us did that,
And-
took responsibility. If I'm actually my brother's keeper, if I say I love you, I should be able to compliment you and critique you
Yep.
at the same time.
Damn time.
Yep.
And it
Because I want to
shouldn't
see
hurt your
you better.
feelings.
Yep.
People tell me all the time, you're too much of an involved friend. Well, then we don't need to be friends.
We don't need to be friends. What am I supposed
What
to
am
be?
I? What?
Because I don't want you around me doing fuck shit. I'm not finna sit next to you and a nigga
And
talk,
yep.
a nigga hit on you and he not even being disrespectful. He don't know he being disrespectful. All he know is he see a fine ass girl.
Yeah.
And watch you cuss him the fuck
And
out.
you about to
and
cuss him up and down. I'm not finna do that every time we hang out.
You
We just not
called me
gonna
a
kick it,
chef,
bitch.
but then got mad when I stepped in the kitchen.
When
Bro, what you want me to do?
Right. Exactly.
Boy.
We-
Again, holding each other accountable for some reason. Black
holding
people
each
don't
other
want to do
accountable.
that.
And y'all, it's really just as simple as like it starts on that individual level. What can I do to better myself? I personally, for me, I am real good about talking a good ass game. I have amazing fucking ideas, but like I'm so fucking proud to even be sitting here in the studio recording this, because this could have been another year out. This could have been me talking about a podcast and not putting any action behind it. And I speak a lot about call to action. Even with like the smoothie slay, it was like, okay, I can't really afford to be like, I don't know if I'm a great chef or like, I can't really afford to be feeding people every single day, but what can I personally do? I don't have a nonprofit organization, but I can start. I know how to make smoothies. I got access to fresh fruit and shit, like, and it ain't expensive for me. I can do that. Okay, cool. What's next? Okay, now next I can talk to some of my friends about working with the youth and getting that involved. You know what I'm saying? And making this a nonprofit and taking it to a bigger scale. But it has to start with accountability, and it has to start with on an individual level. Once you get yourself together and you get in tune, and I guess I don't want to say like woke, but basically that's kind of what
Wake
it
the
is.
fuck
Once
up.
you get aligned and in tune with yourself, you can start branching that light out to other people.
True.
Yeah.
And once you have, you know what I'm saying? Because it's different me on my Facebook post saying, hey, this is how I feel about this. And somebody coming in the opposition in my comments, and me by myself trying to educate them, it just becomes a back and forth argument. Mm-hmm. But when I got 5 other people in my comments like, hold on, whoa, listen. Like, here's my experience. Here's, here's a different perspective, or here is it said in a different way. I'm not saying necessarily to turn that person, but at least now you have listening ears.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
attention.
it's the quenching the thirst.
Yeah.
You might have been opposed to taking that water from me because of who I am or what you feel about my opinions.
Exactly.
But here, let me get Mariah over here. Maybe she can say it, and maybe you just want to take it from her.
Everybody
Like,
can reach everybody, and that's okay. But if you know someone who is very capable of doing that, man, run that.
Yep.
Run that.
Absolutely. And I think it definitely starts with self, because I'll tell people all the time, you don't have to stand on a platform and be a huge leader to make a difference. If you change one person, they're going to change somebody else.
You know what? You said to me,
changing yourself.
You were asking me. I was at Tony's house and we were going over my logo and everything, and you were talking to me. He was asking me some very deep ass questions, and by deep I mean I had to think deeply for the answers. And you said something along the lines of viewing me as the person that might not be that like frontline leader, but I'm the person that gets the attention of the people who need to be under this leader.
Right. Everybody has a role.
And because my role, I have a big voice, and, my voice is my power, but I do not like the responsibility of, I have to manage people, or like even like in hospitality. I love being a server, and people are like, well, you're good at it. Why don't you be a manager? You make more money. 1, I don't. And 2, I like that hands-on. I don't want the paperwork. I don't want the responsibility. But I know that if my job is hiring, I can definitely be the person that goes and posts that post, and people are going to come flock to, you know what I mean?
Some of us keep intelligence of the war. Some of us actually fight the war. And there are those of us who are good at either calling us to war, stopping it, or documenting it. Everybody has a role. Where we fail is that we try to force ourselves into the revolution. If the revolution is between, if the revolution includes you, it will make a way for you. The current revolution now are individuals who support the ideology of Black Lives Matter, the actuality of Black Lives Matter, and against those who would say otherwise, because that's the other side of the coin, right? If I have to say Black Lives Matter, somebody said, no, they don't. Yeah. Or they showed me that. I did not force myself into this. I went to a protest, and in that protest, I saw things, and I remembered the line, the hunter is the hero of the story as long as the lion cannot read or write. And my way of reading or writing was not going to be poetry. It wasn't going to be hip hop. It wasn't going to be in my drawings, but it was going to be photographs. And so I put out this Samsung tablet, and I'm shooting video, and I do that for 2 or 3 days. And then a good friend of mine, who's a wonderful, established photographer, says, hey man, I've seen what you've been doing. What do you need? And I jokingly say, I need a camera. He says, well, I can get you a camera, and we're also going to give you some of our media equipment so that you can create an image to help with the protest for free.
And just like that.
And so instead of like forcing myself to the front lines where I did not feel comfortable, instead of forcing myself to do this, that, and the third, which did not feel like a strong calling for me, I participated as I felt moved, and the revolution made a way for me. And instead of groaning about it, because it isn't a prestigious, as if there's something prestigious about having to fight for your own existence.
Right.
it instead of groaning about it, I accepted it and found a way to maximize it. Imagine if everyone did that. So you're just a water boy. If they pass out from dehydration, who wins this game?
Yep.
So you're just a towel boy. If he can't see, he can't shoot. So you're just a groundskeeper. If this field is even in any situation, that could be a tide turn for them or us. But if you do your damn job from the janitor all the way to the owner and play your role, we'll win.
Yep.
We'll win. Look at New England. I hate New England Patriots, but everybody in that organization,
Brady, baby.
Everybody in that organization plays their damn role. Floyd Mayweather, I cannot stand this man, but you can't deny his bag. Everybody plays their damn role. And when you do that, everybody eats, everybody wins. Look at Adam Sandler's crew.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody in that crew has ever said a bad word about Adam Sandler. He's a limelight hog, this, that, and the third. You know why? Because Adam Sandler is the second greatest example in Hollywood of if you all play your role, we'll all eat.
He passes out the delegates and
the Wayans brothers
properly.
And the Wayans
Same thing. Keenan went, got the bag, came back and said, if we all play our role,
We can all get this bag.
Yeah,
and not only
yeah.
that, but not only spreading that information, because we said this about Adam Sandler, also furthering that education. Okay, so I know that you a good actor. Like, Adam Sandler has all the same people in his movies. Yes, I know y'all can act, but hey, bro, you ever thought about like making your own movie?
Rob Schneider's made
now
several.
writing.
Right, because now I know how to do that shit.
David
you know what
Spade,
I'm saying?
all of them.
Let me put y'all on your shit. And it would be so easy. It is literally, it could start with as simple as putting your bro on.
LeBron James sent both of his homeboys to school, and they came back and worked for him. I think one's his agent and the other one's his accountant or something like that. So you would have a group of individuals who would look at them and be like, man, you let another man put you through college? Bro,
Yes,
I'm the
I
account
did,
manager
bro.
for LeBron James.
Fucking
Say that
right.
out loud with
Yep.
me. I manage his money.
Yep.
Where's your bag?
What you doing?
What's your pride?
How about why you hating? What kind of friends you got?
With your pride. Snoop said that. Your friends, it should not be this.
Yep.
Because the definition of a friend is somebody that you can do business with. That's one of those definitions. I'm not doing business with you if your mindset is not like mine and you don't want to move and you don't want to grow and you don't want to mature.
Even if you don't want to work with me, bro, can you not be happy for me?
That's all.
Bruh.
That's
Why are
all.
you tearing me down?
I'm
Because you're
doing
in a
something
bad
for
way?
you and you could take this and go work for somebody else. It ain't even about that. I
Right.
just want you to be better so we can all be better.
we
I
can-
want to travel with y'all. I don't want to travel and be posting pictures and y'all niggas is broken. Y'all can't go.
That's it right there. That is it right there. No,
Or you
seriously.
mad because I know for a fact there's somebody right now that's gonna see a picture of my new car that I'm friends with, and that person is gonna have an attitude.
It's
'Cause
me. It's me, y'all. It's me because I'm looking at it in a hateful eyes as I look at my old ass car.
Girl, shut up. But like Mariah's always progressing, or how she always doing this, how she
And
doing
how do
that.
you even fix your mouth to say those things? Like
She
it's
only works part time. She only does this.
Yeah.
Why does she do it?
Instead of, damn, Mariah's doing her motherfucking thing on this part-time job. How the fuck can I get a new car on a part-time job?
Bitch, what
Let
you
me
do?
link. Let
What
me
you do?
ask her. You know what I'm saying?
We find a way to be jaded instead of motivated.
Yep. Wow. That's we're damn near ready to wrap, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna go through Could Be Worse. I'm gonna share some Better Black news. We're going to shout out a Better Black business, and we're gonna get the fuck up out of here, y'all. Could Be Worse. As y'all know, I am a firm believer in counting your blessings. Gratitude is wanting what you have so that you're not wanting for what you don't. So I go to fmylife.com, and it's just like a bunch of like tweets of just fucked up things that have happened to people today. So I like to share that, let you know it could be worse. Because we talked about the topic, or we kind of hit on a little bit about like the boys with the toys and all of that, I'll share this one. So it says, today I playfully drew thick eyebrows on my 1-year-old son to make him look like a cartoon villain. He laughed cutely and I took pictures in the mirror. When my husband saw, he threw such a horrendous fit about boys in makeup that I was reduced to tears. Fuck my life. We're going to get into that later, y'all. But let these kids be kids. Let kids be kids. That's that. Better Black news. I want to start off with this. If y'all did not know, Starbucks banned their employees from wearing Black Lives Matter gear. They basically said that under the company's policies, they can't wear accessories that advocate a political, religious, or personal issue, which I have issue with because they encouraged them during Pride Month and everything to wear pride pins and all of that. So that was just kind of like...
I don't.
That was basically Starbucks blatantly, openly saying... Nah, nigga, not here. No Black Lives Matter here.
I don't have a problem with that at all. I like to know my enemy straight up. So now that I know what you're about, I have a decision to make.
True
I can
that.
keep working for you, or I can leave. And if enough
Facts.
employees leave, what happens to Starbucks?
I'd have walked my ass out of Starbucks.
True.
Like,
God,
okay,
I'm
I can
going
take
home.
this green hat
True.
and
All
this
right,
green
bet.
apron.
Go ahead and make that frappe though. You got
All right.
this.
Better Black news. On the flip side of that, Nike, because you know we roll with them, Nike has announced that they are going to recognize Juneteenth as an annual paid holiday.
That's powerful.
That shit is lit.
That is
It
powerful
is
as
lit.
fuck.
It is lit.
Come fucking
It is lit.
through
If that is
Nike.
if that's not enough reason for you to cancel July 4th and celebrate Juneteenth, y'all, then
know
I don't
what
know what the
is.
fuck y'all want.
Amen.
I don't know what y'all want.
Amen. On July 4th, I'm playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare because every time a match starts, they have a marquee stating how they stand with Black Lives Matter and the protest.
Yeah.
Every match. Imagine being the racist going in to call somebody a nigga.
On Call
but
of
you
Duty
gotta
on
read
July
this
4th.
shit before
Right.
you hit start.
Hell
like you can't
yeah.
just skip past it.
Hell yeah.
Eat that shit, bro.
Boom.
I love that shit.
Anything? Do y'all want to add anything else? I thank you both for being here. Thank you so much to the amazing Tony Styxx. This is something that I really like dead ass kind of have dreamed about actually, like hosting, like being a part of your show or just having you a part of something that I'm on. I'm really fucking like.
I'm always
He
happy
is
to
a
do
voice
shit like
and a
this.
presence to have
Seriously.
and be reckoned with.
Thank you to Miss Mariah
Hey.
for being my co-host, y'all. If y'all announcement, co-host has been found. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been The Slay with your girl Shi Rye, the beautiful Miss Mariah Price. You can call her. What we have to? I need a.
We need a tag.
We gonna yeah.
We'll
get there. I appreciate y'all. Please make sure you follow us on social media. Once I get that figured out.
And shout out to Studio 120.
Shout out to Studio
the
120 and the boy Wyatt getting us together. I am really, really excited for the progress of where we're about to go. For sure. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune into the next Slay. Serve life as you. Be your best you. Be black. Be blessed. Be beautiful, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.